And we begin with the tragic scene where a Houston police helicopter crashed into a Greens Point apartment complex, killing the co-pilot and sending the pilot to the hospital. It happened just after 2 this morning on Imperial Valley Drive and Seminar Drive. The co-pilot who has died has been identified as 35-year-old Jason Knox. He was a tactical flight officer. The other pilot, Chase Cormier, was taken to the hospital. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sion Rhodes.
And I'm Jonathan Martinez, live at Memorial Hermann, where that pilot continues to recover tonight. You know, it was certainly a sad day for the Houston Police Department as they are praying for the recovery of one officer, all the while mourning the loss of another.
Jason Knox lost his life today. Someone who wanted to fly early, you know, at the age of 13 and then got, I think, a license at the age of 16.
He was an avid pilot and a beloved Houston police officer, but more than that, he was also a husband and a father of 2. 35-year-old Jason Knox was killed when the police helicopter he was in crashed early Saturday morning.
We're going to miss him. He had I think he had a heart of gold. He had the integrity second to none, and I think that he had the strength of his mom and his dad, and the integrity of a family that raised that young man very well.
In fact, Knox and his family are well known in the Houston area and aren't strangers to civic duty.
He's a son of our council member, and our hearts go out to the entire Knox family, to his parents, to his wife, to his children, and to everyone that loved him.
His father is Houston Council member Mike Knox. He and his family releasing a statement that reads in part, quote, "My wife Helen and I and Jason's wife Kiera are deeply grateful for the outpouring of love and support from our Houston community. We celebrate all Jason embodied as a committed HPD officer and pilot who fully embraced his job, and we celebrate Jason as he was outside of his work, a devoted husband, a loving father, and our only son whom we cherished every day." Other members of City Council devastated by the loss and are also mourning his death.
Our hearts are with the families of the officers and with the entire HPD family. I know we're very grateful to the fire department for their quick response on the scene, to the healthcare providers that are treating one of the officers.
Authorities say Officer Chase Cormier was a pilot at the time of the crash. He was pulled from the wreckage and underwent surgery this morning. And again tonight, that pilot remains here at the hospital and recovering. We want to turn our attention now to the crash itself. It still remains under investigation, and it'll likely be quite some time before we know exactly what went wrong to bring that helicopter down. I want to go live now to Channel 2's Roseanne Aragon, who has more on the moments just before that crash. Roseanne?
That's right, Jonathan. You can see this is an area where many people live. In fact, I saw children watching from a nearby window. They were watching this. This is now the cleanup of that crash site. The helicopter landed right here at the leasing office just by the pool. Residents say they feel for the officer's family and are also thankful no one else was hurt.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
A helicopter crash around 2 a.m. Saturday here at the Biscayne at City View apartment complex on Imperial Valley. Resident Daryl Rollins couldn't believe his eyes.
It was so much going on because, like, the only thing I know is I'm looking at him at the top of the sky. And all of a sudden you hear a noise and, like, he just falling.
Chief Art Acevedo said 2 officers were in the 75 Fox helicopter from the Houston Police Department's Air Operations Unit and were investigating reports of bodies floating in a bayou. Some residents heard the helicopter and knew something went very wrong.
Turning off propel, like, and then the boom.
Crime scene units nearby let police know their helicopter was down. It crashed just feet away from where many people call home.
Some people was sleeping right there or something like that. Fortunately, it was on the leasing center office.
Houston Fire and police responded. The officer, pilot, and technical flight officer were trapped inside and had to be cut out and rushed to the hospital.
A tragic start to our day. These were two outstanding police officers. One is still in the hospital getting the best medical treatment that you can imagine.
Beloved officer Jason Knox lost his life. Their helicopter injured no one else. Now residents say they are lucky, but their hearts are with the officers and their loved ones.
I feel for the family. I do.
Houston police are investigating this crash as a homicide, leaving no stone unturned. The NTSB and FAA are also doing an extensive investigation. You can see here there's plenty of work left to be done. Reporting live from Greens Point, Roseanne Aragon, KPRC Channel 2 News. Jonathan, back to you.
All right, Roseanne, thanks a lot for that. Keep us updated. You know, a bit earlier today, Police Chief Art Acevedo did mention that Officer Knox was involved in another helicopter incident just last year. We're told in July, an HPD helicopter had a hard landing at Hobby Airport. The helicopter ended up on its side at the department's hangar, but no one was seriously hurt in that incident. You know, we can tell you all day there has been a steady stream of officers that have been showing up here at the hospital. Of course, they're here to support one another. We will stay out here and bring you any developments on this story as they continue to unfold. For now, we're going to go ahead and send things back over to you. Sion?
Jonathan.